Welcome to the E-MindCoach, coaching for entrepreneurial success. I'm Ty, and today's coaching session is titled Avoid Fixed Costs and Things That Rust, Rot, and Depreciate. You can visit our website at e-mindcoach.com. Years ago, when I started a nightclub business called Triangle Fiesta, I made a strategic decision that ended up serving me well. From my days of working in agribusiness, I remembered the words of Dr. Gordon Hazard when he said, "Don't invest in things that rust, rot, or depreciate." Dr. Hazard built an empire with this philosophy in an industry, farming and ranching, that is traditionally thought to require massive investment in fixed costs like buildings and farm equipment. Based on this advice, I decided in the nightclub business that I would bypass the traditional route for starting a nightclub, buying a building or leasing a building, renovating the space, purchasing bar equipment and furnishing, buying all the DJ and sound equipment. Basically, all this would have been investment into fixed costs and items that over time would have depreciated by breaking down or needing upgrading. Instead, I racked my brain for a way that I could still have a nightclub without having to invest the little capital I did have into these necessary items. It eventually hit me that I could let other people own all the depreciating items and just rent their buildings and equipment on a per-use basis. I realized that there were untold benefits from this approach. First, if there was a bad weather one week, I could just cancel my parties. Since the event hadn't taken place yet, I would not have to pay all the fixed costs like the DJs, hosts, bouncers, etc. Sure, I might have had some loss, but not nearly as much as if I had owned all the fixed costs, buildings, and equipment myself. 2. If I got burnt out, or bored, I could just take a few months off and not have to worry about recurring overhead. Let's start that again, Rick. Number 2. If I got bored or burnt out, I could just take a few months off and not have to worry about recurring overhead. Travel to Europe. Take a break. Number 3. If people got sick of a certain location, or if a location started being seen as a less quote-unquote hip spot, as often happens with nightclubs, I could just find a new location and move my parties. In fact, I even made the slogan for Triangle Fiesta, "The Traveling Party," so my customers would not be surprised if we ever moved. This strategy, thanks in part to the advice from wise old Dr. Hazard, helped me turn Triangle Fiesta into a business that for years I worked part-time, 5 or 10 hours a week, and still made a nice living from. Now, obviously for you as an entrepreneur, the exact course I took may not be an option. There are some industries that require more fixed costs and depreciating equipment in order to operate. But in the modern day world of remote workers, overseas outsourcing, the internet, and subcontractors, you'll be surprised how low you can keep your fixed costs in items that rust, rot, and depreciate. So the takeaway coaching point is, have a low ratio of fixed cost to variable costs. Consider renting or subcontracting before you buy any item that depreciates. Thanks, and I hope you'll visit us at www.emindcoach.com.